Independent grind powered by Tech 9.
Awesome. Well, I guess starting out, I'm actually from DC as well, and I know you're Ethiopian. So I'm just curious if you have you ever been to Langano in Silver Spring?
Langano?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
That's like my favorite. I love Ethiopian food. Like I know DC.
Nice.
Like, yeah, moving out here, that's like one of the things I miss most is like an Ethiopian spot everywhere. I'm just curious, like, what's your favorite spot for Ethiopian in DC?
Well, there's one called Ducom, which is really great. But if you're ever in Silver Spring, I highly recommend Arat Kilo. It's just delicious, and I think the prices are fair for a lot of food.
Yeah, a lot of it gets ridiculous. Like I always just get combo platters, but like you look at some of the stuff and I'm like, damn, I can't afford any of this.
Who would have thought we would have started this interview with that?
What do you get?
I usually just get like a veggie platter and like I don't know, like a beer.
Oh. Okay, I usually eat a Wazé Tibbs, and I eat it. I just like a Coca-Cola. I just drink Coke. But yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, I guess just moving on even into DC, I feel like right now, sort of like there's almost like a youth movement going on. Like, you know, on the biggest levels, there's obviously like Wale and GoldLink, but I always see guys thinking of like Matt McGee, like you obviously, Chaz French, Sir EU, a lot of people blowing up. Can you talk a little bit about sort of like what the DC scene looks like right now?
Yeah, I think that right now it's really great because there's so many artists coming out and we're all kind of supporting each other. So it's a lot of different sounds, but it's becoming more unified, which is only gonna, make DC that much bigger. We're most definitely making strides, but I think we have a long way to go, or some ways to go before we can really have a lot of attention on DC.
Definitely. It's kind of weird because like I grew up there and I always remember people skipping over DC, like going to New York and then down.
Right, exactly.
Over DC. And so it's weird to sort of like, I always thought like, why isn't DC a scene? And now, but I really do feel like there's like, at least the groundwork is being laid for that.
Most definitely. I agree. And I think in a matter of a couple of years, we'll really be that, that city.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have like big venues, small venues, like places where people can come and perform, as far as even just like underground people as well?
Yeah, we have new ones coming up, which is really cool. Definitely growing, but it'll like 930 Club is obviously like ones that we know of. 930 Club, which is really, really strong, and it's a good size.
And there's the new one that.
Yeah,
your Songbird is a new one too that I've been dying.
Songbird
just as I left, they opened up and like I see every once in a while there's like an awesome show like coming through there, and I'm like, why wasn't this around when I lived there? Of course.
Exactly, yeah. But they're definitely more established in this brand.
Yeah, you said there's a new one. Is there new ones coming out? Where are those? I don't know if I've heard of those ones.
Waterfront.
Oh really?
Southwest, yes.
Shit. Fuck.
It's big,
got
yeah.
out at the wrong time. Well, is that the way sort of you think like to build a community is through shows? Is that like the main? Because we always talk about like we talk to a lot of indie rappers and trying to build, and it seems like doing live shows and getting people together in that way is like a big way to sort of build a scene. Do you find that to be the case?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah, most definitely.
Let's sort of try to kick it into your music now. I guess I'm curious, sort of, I know you grew up in DC. How'd you initially get into music?
Well, actually, initially, I really wanted to become a writer or an author or, journalist. I was really into reading. But it kind of just happened that after high school, I was going to parties. I kind of just started singing. And, like, within the same, 2 weeks, everyone I met was like, yo, you should really try music. And then I'm going to a studio. So it just kind of fell upon my lap.
When did you did you start knowing that like from the beginning that you like when you started to record that this was something you wanted to pursue? I guess when did you see it as a legitimate like thing you could really do?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It was the first time I ever been in the studio. I think I laid down the hook and then played it back. And it was just kind of like this like it dawned on me like this was the missing piece, So I was like, oh okay, so this is what I'm meant to do. Like it became a passion, so.
And I've noticed sort of, one of the ways you've sort of gotten like your name out there a lot. I've seen it recently is through features. There's obviously the new one with Phil Ade, and I really love the Chaz French one. How'd you get linked up with Phil Day and Chaz French?
Thank you. I met them about, I think I would say like 2 years ago, and so we've just all become friends, and over time, just get on each other's records. It just happened organically.
Awesome. And for the Chaz French one, it was dope to see you with BJ the Chicago Kid, who's like one of my favorite artists, and I think one of the best like feature artists in the game. How'd you find out that he was going to be on the track with you?
Well, actually, I did the record. Initially, Chaz played the instrumental at his house, and we freestyled there, and then we went to the studio and laid it down. And then I'd say a couple weeks later, they were like, "Oh yeah, BJ's getting on the record." So it just kind of happened. But I was really happy because I think he's just so talented, and I think it turned out really nice. So.
Definitely. And he's, to my opinion, like one of the best features in music, and I love the way he supplements his own material with features, and he does a lot of them, and it's almost like a cornerstone of his career. And I see you now with him and Chaz French and Phil Day. I'm curious if you plan on like sort of making features something you want to do.
Yeah, it's not necessarily my main focus. I think my main focus is just making music in general, but with whoever I come across who's dope and talented, I'm down to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's hard because like a lot of times artists get caught in they do a lot of features and then they get just known as a feature artist. So there's like a weird, and BJ's one who's been able to like get out of that, but it's sort of like a weird space to be in where if you start to do a lot of features, people only know you for those.
Yeah,
is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, I think that it's tough when you are doing features and you get put in the box, but it's you stay focused and you just create your own projects and your own body of work.
Definitely. And yeah, I'm curious. So now just to sort of get into How Things Fly, it was released last year. I've just found you this year. Trying to remember how I stumbled on your music, but so it's weird to see it come out in 2016, but it's still so new to me, and I'm still so excited about it. I'm just curious what your creation process is like. Sort of, do you come in with a beat, or do you have a vibe or an idea in mind and then build around that? How do you build a song? Usually
when we make music, Deja Thomas, by the way, is the who produced the whole project, How Things Fly. Usually we just go in and make instrumental from scratch, and I just write. And whatever comes to my mind, we just lay it down. It's a really organic, simple process.
And did you consciously make this with just his beats, or I guess why only have one producer? What went into that decision?
I think that our sounds just fit well. It's not necessarily, I'm not open to other producers or instrumentals. It just kind of happened, and it just works well.
How'd you get linked up with him? Because your sounds work so well together.
Thank you. Actually, just social media, Instagram. We just saw upon each other's pages and went to the studio, and it just made sense from there.
That's awesome. And he's part of, I see you're part of 94's Gold?
Yes.
Is that him, or is that just him? What exactly is 94's Gold?
Yes, 94's Gold is a production company, and it's myself and Deja Thomas, and it's a collaborative.
And is that part of like I guess I'm curious how you built a team, and sort of like it seems like you're coming up, but you do have like people behind you supportive. How have you been able to build that team?
It's just a collective of really talented people. It just happen organically. You just find people that fit into what you're trying to do. So it just kind of happens. There's a vision and everyone sees it. So it just kind of happens organically.
Mm-hmm. And what'd you learn from putting out How Things Fly? Either just about the business or about yourself?
I think I definitely learned that, it's much more than just making music. You have to have platforms, and you just have to just learn more about your craft. I'd also say that I learned how to perform. Initially, I didn't have much music out. So when the project came out, those were the first times I was really performing and meeting people that, genuinely like their music.
Where was your first performance?
I believe our first performance was in Virginia. The Diamond Job, actually.
Okay, yeah, I've been there a few times.
Nice.
That's a way out there.
Yeah, you gotta do it for the music.
That's awesome. And have you sort of, I guess, have you grown live? Like, do you feel like, have you noticed a change in yourself performing live, or what's the biggest difference between, when you get on stage now and when you got on stage then?
I feel like in the studio, I kind of sing for myself in a way. But, when I meet people and we're performing, I see like people genuinely love our music and it touches them. So it becomes this kind of like family performance in a way.
And circling back to How Things Fly, is there a record on there that you're most proud of or you feel like most strongly connected to?
Yeah, I'd definitely say You Are Not My Son, which is the last track. It was, I was kind of transitioning from school to making music, and I just came across a lot of people, and I think I learned a lot about myself. So yeah, definitely You're Not My Son.
Awesome. And now, it fits so well because it feels new and fresh, but it also, it's distinctly you, but Wicked Ways is a new one. Can you talk a little about that song, sort of what you were trying to go for with that one?
Yeah, most definitely. Wicked Ways is more so introspective record. It's just kind of a reminder that to just stay on path. I think it's really easy to lose focus. And yeah, it's just about staying on path and just, staying true to yourself, most importantly.
And I'm curious sort of why now you picked now to release it or recently. Is it part of something bigger? Do you have bigger plans in mind, or was it just you recorded it and wanted to get it out there?
I think it's just time. I think it's a good transition from How Things Fly to the music that's to come. It's,
How have you grown
hello?
since... Hello?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I think we cut off. But yeah, it's just kind of like an evolution to what's come.
How have you evolved since How Things Fly?
I think I'm more receptive in general to different sounds. I think I'm more open now. As well as, like I said, performing. I've definitely learned a lot about how to keep people, around and keep them entertained.
When you perform, did you get a new perspective on like some new music you wanted to make just based on, what people were really vibing with and whatnot?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I'm definitely looking forward to more lively instrumentals, and just, even more so, more Ethiopian sounds, more Ethiopian-like instrumentals. They kind of bring, my community toward, the community around.
Definitely. That's really cool. Have you been over there to Ethiopia at all?
No, actually I haven't. I grew up in Senegal though, Senegal Dakar. I moved here around when I was 7 or so. But Ethiopia is definitely on the list of, places to be. It's home.
Definitely. What's the music, or sort of what's that sound like, or what? I'm curious, even just what music sounds like in Ethiopia, or what that genre is like.
I would figure that you've heard it since you've been to Ethiopian restaurants, but it's a lot of drums, just a lot of just lively music, lively sounds, a lot of natural instruments and natural sounds.
Is Wicked Ways going to be part of a larger project?
Yes, most definitely. We have a project in the works coming out soon, and I think it's a great transition, like I said earlier, from How Things Fly to what's different, the new music that's coming out.
Is it a full album, or can you give us a little bit insight into that project?
It's more so an EP, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's more in depth this EP rather than How Things Fly was more so, I'd say a broad. I think it covered a lot of topics, but it was broad, and this new project is more in depth.
Awesome. And just before we let you go, I want to ask a random question. If you could score the soundtrack for any movie, which would it be?
That's really hard. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let me think about it.
Take your time.
Oh wait, definitely Harry Potter, because Harry Potter, any of the Harry Potter movies. I'm a big fan of J.K. Rowling as a writer, and the movies were just amazing. So I'll go with that.
That's awesome. That's a good answer.
Thank you. What about you?
Lord of the Rings is more my style, but I'll take it.
Nice. Okay, that's understandable.
I was going to say Game of Thrones, but I guess it's not a movie, so it doesn't count.
No. But the new season's really good.
But first, do you have anything else that you sort of want to share? Any shows you're excited about, or what we can be on the lookout for?
No shows that I can name. I'll just be on the lookout for music. There's new music coming any day now.
Awesome.
Oh, but follow me on social media, the Saba Sound, TheSabaSound.
This is the genius, Chris Calico. Cali, baby. Letting you know you're tuned into Tech Nine's independent grind on Dash Radio.